A man loses a $3 million deal because he couldn't control his face for 6 seconds. Another man, same room, same attack, same provocation, says nothing, lets the silence hang like a blade. 3 weeks later, he signs the contract his competitor lost. Same words were spoken, different men, different futures. The difference wasn't intelligence, it wasn't preparation, it wasn't even confidence. It was 2 seconds. 2 seconds between the provocation and the reaction. 2 seconds that separate the man who is played from the man who plays. By the end of this video, you will understand why your silence is not weakness. It is the most devastating weapon you possess. And you will learn the exact neurological protocol that grants you access to those 2 seconds. The unbothered mind is not born. It is built. Let me show you the blueprint. You have felt it. That moment when someone says the one thing that bypasses every defense you have. The comment that turns your blood to gasoline. The tone that ignites it. And in the seconds that follow, while your heart hammers and your thoughts spiral, you say something you cannot unsay. You send a message you cannot unsend. You make a decision you cannot unmake. The world is engineered to extract these reactions from you. Every notification, every headline, every passive-aggressive email, every relationship test. They are all fishing hooks, and your emotional response is the prize they are trying to reel in. Most men give it away freely, dozens of times per day, and wonder why they feel exhausted, why they lose respect, why opportunities evaporate. This is not philosophy, this is strategy. And the men who master it do not just survive, they dominate. Inside your skull, there is a war happening right now. Your amygdala, the almond-shaped cluster deep in your brain, evolved 300 million years ago. Its job: detect threats and trigger survival responses in 80 milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. When a saber-toothed tiger appeared, you needed to act now. Think later. Hesitation meant death. But here is the problem. Your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a predator and a provocative email. It cannot distinguish between a physical threat and a social insult. To your nervous system, disrespect feels like danger. So it floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate spikes. Your muscles tense. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, strategy, and long-term thinking, goes offline. Studies show that emotional flooding reduces your problem-solving capacity by up to 30%. You are literally stupider when you are angry. The person who provoked you knows this. They are betting on it. But there is a gap. Neuroscience calls it the response window. It exists between the stimulus, the insult, the disrespect, the challenge, and your reaction. For most people, this gap is invisible. The provocation arrives and the reaction fires automatically, like a reflex. They never even knew they had a choice. But the gap is real. It is 1.5 to 2.5 seconds wide. And in that space, every master of strategy, every great leader, every unbothered man who ever walked this earth found freedom. Because here is what they discovered. If you can intercept the signal before it becomes the reaction, if you can inject 2 seconds of conscious choice into the automatic process, you can rewrite the entire trajectory of what happens next. You are no longer the chess piece, you become the player. Part 2, the 2-second protocol. This is not theory. This is a protocol you can deploy today. Step 1, recognition. The moment you feel the spike, the heat rising in your chest, the tension in your jaw, the acceleration of your heartbeat, you name it. Not out loud, silently. This is anger. This is defensiveness. This is fear disguised as aggression. Neuroimaging studies prove that the simple act of labeling an emotion reduces amygdala activation by up to 50%. You are not suppressing the feeling, you are creating distance from it. You are shifting from "I am angry" to "I am experiencing anger." The difference is everything. Step 2. Breathing. 1 complete breath cycle, 4 seconds minimum. 4 count inhale, 4 count exhale. This is not mysticism. This is physiology. Deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the biological brake pedal that counteracts the fight or flight response. It drops your heart rate. It oxygenates your prefrontal cortex. It brings you back online. Step 3. The question. Before you speak, before you text, before you act, you ask one question. What serves me here? Not, what do I feel? Not, what do they deserve? Not, what would feel satisfying in this moment? What serves me? Does defending myself here increase or decrease my position? Does this argument move me toward my goals or away from them? Will my reaction give this person exactly the power they are fishing for? Most provocations are not attacks, they are tests. The person who stays calm passes. The person who reacts fails. And the beautiful thing? Once you start asking the question, the answer is almost always the same. Silence serves you. Composure serves you. Letting them reveal themselves while you reveal nothing serves you. Part 3. The power of strategic silence. There is a legendary story in negotiation circles. A man walked into a 3-hour meeting to finalize a $40 million acquisition. His counterpart had prepared extensively. Spreadsheets, projections, counter-arguments, the entire arsenal. The man said almost nothing. He asked 3 questions. He nodded occasionally. He let silence hang in the air like gravity. His counterpart, unable to endure the quiet, filled the void. He talked himself into concession after concession. He revealed his timeline pressure, his internal conflicts, his fear of losing the deal. By the end, the man who said nothing had won everything. When asked about his strategy, he said, "Silence is a canvas. People paint their insecurities on it." Most people experience silence as pressure. It creates discomfort, and discomfort demands relief. So they talk, they explain, they justify. They fill the space with information you never asked for. The unbothered man understands this. He is comfortable in silence because he has nothing to prove. He does not need to convince you he is smart or right or worthy. He simply is. And that comfort, that ease with quiet, gives him control over every conversation he enters. There are 5 types of powerful silence. The thinking. The silence before you answer. It signals you are considering the question seriously, not reacting reflexively. It increases the weight of whatever you say next. The weight, the silence after someone speaks. It amplifies their words or exposes their weakness. If what they said was strong, the pause lets it land. If it was weak, the pause makes it wither. The invitation, the silence that draws others to reveal more. In interrogations, this is called the pregnant pause. People cannot help but fill it. The disagreement. Instead of arguing, you pause. You let their claim hang in the air, unsupported by your validation. Often, they start arguing with themselves. The closing pause. After you make your point, you stop. No elaboration, no justification. You let it land and you wait. Silence is rare. Words are cheap. Everyone has them. They spill from people constantly, depreciating in value with every unnecessary syllable. But silence? Silence is memorable. It is respected. It is felt. Part 4. The gray rock and the walk away. Some people are not worth engaging, not because they are beneath you, but because they feed on reactions the way parasites feed on blood. And the moment you understand this, everything changes. Psychologists call it gray rock. The concept is simple. Become as interesting as a gray rock, bland, unresponsive, forgettable. Give them nothing to work with, no emotional variation, no defensiveness, no visible effect. When you respond with minimal, factual, emotionally flat answers, you stop being fun to provoke. The drama generator loses their audience. The button pusher realizes the buttons don't work anymore. The emotional vampire finds no blood to drink. And eventually, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, they move on to easier targets. But there is something even more powerful than gray rock: the walk-away. Most conflicts persist because both parties are over-invested in the outcome. They need to win. They need to be right. They need the other person to acknowledge, to apologize, to change. The unbothered man needs none of this, because he is willing to leave, not as a bluff, not as a manipulation tactic, as a genuine option he has cultivated and prepared for. When you are truly willing to walk away from a relationship, a job, a negotiation, a conflict, you are free in a way your counterpart often is not. They can feel it. Your calm is not performance. It is rooted in alternatives, and that makes you dangerous. Because the person who needs the arrangement less controls the arrangement. Your presence is not a hostage. You are not trapped in any conversation, any conflict, any relationship. The door exists. The unbothered man knows where it is. And that knowledge alone changes everything about how he is treated. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome during plague, war, and betrayal. His private journals, never meant to be read by anyone, reveal a man constantly coaching himself to remain unbothered by circumstances he could not control. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood what modern neuroscience would later prove. The gap between stimulus and response is where all human freedom lives. In that gap, those 2 seconds, you are not your conditioning, not your past, not your worst impulses. You are choice itself. The unbothered mind is not cold. It is not emotionless. It is not indifferent. It is selective. It feels everything and expresses strategically. Because here is the final truth. Your reaction is the prize. Everyone around you, consciously or unconsciously, is trying to extract it. Your anger, your validation, your defense, your explanation. Every time you give it freely, you lose power. Every time you withhold it strategically, you gain it. Tomorrow morning, not next week, not when you feel ready. Tomorrow morning. Try this. Before you check your phone, before you engage the world, 10 minutes of silence. Then, when the first provocation of the day arrives, and it will, find the gap. 2 seconds. Label the emotion. Take the breath. Ask the question. What serves me here? 1 unbothered moment is a victory. 1,000 is a transformation. 10,000 is an identity. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about becoming who you were before the world taught you to react. The unbothered mind is not born, it is built. 1 2-second gap at a time. If you want to see the next pattern, the next truth hidden in plain sight, subscribe. Because the fire is just beginning.